Grumpy Prosperity Team this week for our episode of Grow Your Mind and Money. And tonight we are interviewing Sunita Trevino. She's the founder of Brain Coach Consulting. Sunita has experienced the other side of the mountain, the valley, and the mountaintop, and has used those challenges to empower people of all ages and backgrounds to exceed expectations. Sunita is a champion for humanity. And with that said, you know it is right now time for a little spoken word to kick off the show from Shanie. She is our resident and original Sunshine Princess of Poetry.
All right. Thank you, Quiet Storm. Shanie, the poet, is not here with us tonight. She's preparing for a big event. If you want to find out about it, check out our website, ShanieThePoet.com, to get more details. But she did send us a little poetry to kick off the show. This is a little piece that she calls Call Me Spoiled and Make Me Laugh. Let's check it out. That mic is hot.
Call me spoiled and make me laugh. Seen enough in my past to last 10 lifetimes. So I don't just survive through it. I'm living life. That's why my smile still shines so bright. Yes, I love the attention, and my body is craving for your affection, so what are you going to do? Put in work or leave me to flirt? 'Cause I can still pull them both ways. Playing with me still fun on any given day. Enjoy your life. So come, sip on my forever and dine on my affinity. Are you ready for me? The sweet, warm smell of happy, leaving footprints or life-size imprints in the sands of time. Go ahead. Call me spoiled and make me laugh. They say that it's good for the soul. Finding joy that was meant for me. No longer wasting time on past we. Hearing pleasures whispered to me. Taking changes gracefully. Touching happiness daily. Letting go of yesterday so I can grab tomorrow with both hands. And it's good. It gets better. Greater than your wildest dreams. You know that I know you smile when you think of me. So go ahead. Call me spoiled and make me laugh. Release the waves of intentions. Let me walk your mountains of dedication. Do you see me? Feel me. Falling on the wings of satisfaction. Recalling your reaction to my smile. To my smile. Yeah. My smile. I love it when you make me laugh so hard I can't breathe, and I feel that way when you kiss me, gently but still aggressively. The truth is, you spoil me. You give me what I need, and sometimes I fiend. I want you my way. I want you my way. So go ahead. Call me spoiled and make me laugh, and we can still enjoy it while it lasts.
Snap, snap, snap. Call me spoiled and make me laugh. But guess who snuck into the studio? The original Sunshine Princess of Poetry herself out there. And I had just said she prepared for this big event, and to check out her website, she snuck on in here. You got something you want to add, or do you want to let that poem stand on its own?
That was so on time. Oh my goodness! So I don't need to say nothing else because I'm still laughing. So I needed that. I needed to hear that. Yes. So we continue. It is time to see what money-making thoughts Darnell has for us today.
Well, actually, and I do have this right, the voice of reason is not here tonight, but I'll be doing the money-making thought.
Ooh,
Succeed in any situation. Ideal conditions for doing your work are, well, ideal, but they are not absolutely necessary. It's great to have all the tools and resources close at hand and to have a supportive environment in which to use them. While such a scenario is quite desirable, it is not always possible. Just because conditions are less than perfect does not mean you have to be less than your best. Just because conditions are not ideal is not an excuse to put off your work until another time. In fact, there can be hidden value in those challenging, less than ideal conditions. You might actually find a way to do the job even better than if things had been perfect. So if you catch yourself making excuses, quickly remind yourself of how capable and adaptable you are. Instead of seeing the situation as a reason to procrastinate, see it as a challenge to grow stronger and more resilient. Give new power and effectiveness to your work by resolving to do it no matter what. Give yourself the ability to succeed in any situation. What I've learned about myself and growing my mind when it comes to the theme succeed in any situation and the action I will take is this. When I really look at some of the most dire situations and see what it took for me to move past them, I really get that I have succeeded in whatever situation that I was in. And the big thing I learned is that either the situation was going to run me or I was going to run the situation. And the action that I will take today is to look at the situation I'm in and see where I'm stopping myself from succeeding because it's not the situation. Now, I will see you later on in the show, but right now it's time for our special interview with Sunita Trevino. Nakia, over to you.
Hey, thank you, Ronnie B. In this part of the show, we will learn about a challenge Sunita faced in having her dreams fulfilled, a challenge that knocked the winds out of her sails. Somehow, some way, she kept going and turned that challenge from seeming defeat into victory. Thank you, Sunita, for being on the show tonight. And excuse my voice. I don't want to lose it, but I want to make sure that I'm articulating my words effectively and very clearly so you and the audience can hear me and understand me. And if there's something I'm not saying clearly for you, I'm talking too fast, or however, please let me know. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, Sunita, please share an incident or time in your life that knocked the wind out of yourself when the going got even rougher and you felt as though you were lost. Please be as specific as possible so we can truly appreciate what you were experiencing.
Well, let me say that the Lord has an amazing way of orchestrating things, and I think we make plans and He sits in heaven and laughs because He's already got it plotted out for us. He's got the best possible scenario in mind. And as I listen to how this show was introduced, I hope you hear the theme that was expressed, which is succeed in any situation in my story. But I looked and I thought, if I was honest with the audience and with you loving people,
about what knocked the wind out of my sails. I think some of you might not believe the story I can tell you. The story involves murder, kidnapping, and eventually a suicide. And what knocked me out of my sails, I had very successful businesses, and I was pursuing my second degree when it was brought to my attention that a family member of mine, now these people are still alive, and I've been asked to write a book about this, and I haven't done this yet because there are people that would be hurt if I was to give this story out completely. But I want tonight to be a testimony for anybody that's listening, and I prayed, and Nakia prayed with me. So I say this with all humility, but what happened was I found out that my brother had been kidnapped. Now, this is in a time where Mexico and the United States were negotiating big deals, something called the NAFTA. The NAFTA law was being passed. So my brother was a wealthy businessman doing business in Mexico, and we got notice that he had been taken. So we started a search for about 3 months. My home, my parents' home, became a Fort Knox, where we had maps on the wall. People were coming over in shifts and cooking for my mother and the family because we couldn't think straight. My father was going into Mexico looking for a dead body. You go to the mortuaries and the jails, and you look. We had hired investigators, and the police were involved. The FBI were involved. And if anybody's interested, the articles are still in the news. They can still Google them and find that this is all true. The governor of Texas got involved, and because this was a wealthy businessman that had been kidnapped. Now, this is back before the kidnappings were as frequent as they are now. They were not frequent back then. So I want to share with y'all, at that point, I was raised as a Hindu. I am from India. I was born in Bombay, India. And I knew there was a God. I wasn't sure what he was like. I didn't really think that he loved me, because in the Hindu faith, you're taught that it's about sacrifice that you do for a God, that you have to earn your way into heaven. So when my brother was kidnapped, the first thing I was thinking was, what did I do to deserve this? What did we do to deserve this? And, I remember we flew in psychics from America's Most Wanted. These ladies came in at whatever it cost us. When you think a family member has been kidnapped, you will spare no expense.
Absolutely.
I know that we had family coming from a different country, from Spain. We had family coming from Hong Kong and India, and we were all looking. 3 months into it, we were told by the FBI that he had not been kidnapped, but that he had run away. And I could not believe that my brother would do this. I could not believe that this was possible. I thought they had been mistaken. They had a picture of a man that looked like my brother. At the same time, we were answering random messages to us that they had our brother. People sent pictures of young people that were beaten up, and they looked like him. So they were asking for ransom money. They were sending us pictures of young men that were bruised and deformed in the face that might have been my brother. And you go through this, and you're still hoping he's alive. And we were told about 3 months into this, the only way we were going to get my brother back was to take one of theirs, which means we needed to pick up another young man, somebody from Mexico, some child of somebody that probably took him.
Wow.
So I know my time is short on these questions. How am I doing on this question? How's my time?
Keep going.
Yeah, because Ronnie
keep
B
going.
will let us know if we're, running
just keep going. You don't have to explain the kid. Keep going.
Okay. So I was faced, my father came to me with a question of, should we pick up somebody's son to get my brother back? Now, at this time, the only thing of all the religions that had come across my way, the only thing that would let me sleep at night was Psalms 23. And I would repeat that over and over again.
Amen.
The only way I could fall asleep. And I could not understand that. I would say the Indian prayers that were told to me, nothing worked. The only thing that got me to sleep was Psalms 23. And that's probably when I felt the change. But what I was faced with was, as the oldest child of 3, my father was asking me, should we pick up somebody's son? And I, first of all, did not believe that the FBI were correct. I believed that something was wrong with my brother. He could not have done this. But in a desperate ploy, I told my father that we need to go check out the lead that the FBI had given us. Because he was over 21, they could not tell us where he was. But we had some leads because we had hired a private detective as well. So I just played for time. I swear to God, I thought if we go over there, we would not find my brother, but at least no other child was going to be picked up. So we went to Chicago, and there he was.
Wow.
He was there, and he had run away. Now, what happened after that is, as the eldest of the family and being a psychologist and being the family therapist, I called everybody together, and we were going to end his first marriage so he could continue with the woman he had run away with. That was the reason he had run away. He said he wanted to be with another woman, and he at this point had married 2 women, did not cancel the first marriage, but was in the second. And we came to my house, and we were going to end this all properly. We were going to be decent about it. I did not know that day my father had a gun.
Oh.
He had a gun and will in his briefcase. And his idea was that he was going to shoot himself in front of the second wife. To restore honor to the family, he was going to shoot himself. Now, I did not know this. What happened was I got a phone call. We were in the middle of negotiating. Everything was going great. Everything was being restored. And I got a call, and my father called me and said, I did something bad. I need you to come. Now, what he had done is he had shot himself first, but the second bullet hit the other woman, hit my brother's estranged second wife.
Oh, wow.
And she died. Now, I didn't know how to tell you, Nakia. I didn't know. He didn't tell me where he was. But by the time I got there, and I just took off. By the time I got there, the police were there. He called me, and then he called the police. He had lost so much blood that he had passed out. And this is all very well documented. And my father was going to be charged with a hate crime, and it was because he was Indian and he had shot a non-Indian, and it became a huge story. And it wouldn't end there, though. It would not end there. Because I'm trained as a clinical psychologist, the family of the girl that died sued everybody, the hotel, myself, my brother, my mother. Everybody had the means and resources to get an attorney. I did not, so I defended myself. It was a lawsuit, a civil lawsuit, and the allegation was that I was trained as a psychologist and I should have known that my father was dangerous. I defended myself. And during these times, this is when the first part of the answers I intended to provide for you. It wasn't about me, where I got the strength from and how I defended myself. Because the way I defended myself was I had to explain my childhood and the abuse I had seen as a child. They wanted to prove that I knew my father was volatile. Everybody was dismissed except me because I didn't have a lawyer. So I defended myself for a year, and eventually it was thrown out of court, and I won because I was going to countersue for mental anguish.
Wow.
The judge finally told the lawyer, you are not going to tell me that you're making this woman guilty by affiliation. And at that point, when the judge said that, I think the lawyers knew they had nothing. But in that whole time, and mind you, I had 2 businesses, I had 2 children, young. I was opening a Montessori school, and the last thing you want in the newspaper when you own a school that hosts young children is that your father kills somebody. Nobody's going to send them to my school.
Right.
No one was going to come to me as a psychologist knowing what my dad had done. Now, whether that's true or not, that's what I thought. And it lived very real for me. But what got me through was knowing that the fight was not about me. It was always something bigger. And so I know you've got some more questions for me, but I cannot explain the darkness when you have a new business, you have young children, you're trying to just make ends meet. You're thrown into a civil lawsuit. Your father is gone. Your brother and your father, your mother, nobody's talking to anybody because my mother blamed my brother blamed my father. My father, he was in no condition to talk to anybody, and I was the eldest trying to hold it all together.
Wow.
And I don't take any credit for any of that. What I knew was there was something else bigger at play. I knew there was something bigger than me, and that's what kept me going.
Absolutely. Wow.
And Nakia, I really prayed today before I got on, but if I was to give you an honest answer, if you want to ask for the time that my wind was knocked out of my sail, that was it. And there's a lot more that I persevered because when the family was apart, nobody would talk to each other, but they would talk to me, and my brother would talk to me and tell me to tell my brothers, my father something. My father would talk to me to tell my brother. And I was the in-between. And I heard all the anger and the hostility in the family. And I filtered that out, and I just came to the love. I gave my father the loving words that my brother had to say. I gave my brother the loving words my father had to say. They didn't know the anger that they had for each other. And I received I was sort of the filter for that. And later on, I realized the damage that had done to me. But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And the Lord would not have me go through something I couldn't handle. Absolutely. But what it made me into, the Lord, count it all joy, right?
Right. Well, Sunita, in going along with what you're saying now, in dealing with the situation, did you blame other people? Or your circumstances or yourself for what you experienced throughout this ordeal?
I wanted to, but you know what? And I can't even take credit for it. I didn't. But the reason I didn't was because I was in a fight, and it was bigger than about me. I was trying to hold my family together. I was trying to be a decent mother. I was trying to hold on to my marriage. And I didn't have time to blame. And so I can't even say it was wisdom. But what I can tell you, the wisdom that came now when I reflect is that if you lose yourself, you will find yourself. And I was lost. I was lost in taking care of my mom and holding her together and holding up. Well, whatever I could salvage as a family. I don't remember having time to blame anybody. I wish I could have said, I know, that I was so wise and I knew that the only, that I was responsible, but I can't tell you that. All I can tell you is that what got me through it and why I did not blame anybody is there was no time.
All right.
And then the Lord is so good because when I finally had the time to reflect, I was wiser.
Wow.
Does that make any sense?
Yes, it does. Absolutely.
I think the message in that is if you find yourself blaming or looking for blame, what I'm wondering is, are you taking, what are you honoring? What is the game? What are you up to in the world? Because if you're blaming, then that means that you're not up to anything to your potential. I think God created us to be great. Life makes us ordinary. And I really believe that we were created to be in a fight. I really believe that we were created to take a challenge. And in that challenge, excellence becomes available. And so I'm telling you, it's all a battle. I'm just wondering if the battle is if it's worthy of you, So I find that in my life, whenever I have a battle that's worthy of me, I don't have time for blaming. It really becomes a service. it becomes a call to a cause.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So, thank you so much, Sunita, for sharing. That I have definitely been moved and inspired by what you've been sharing. And in thinking about our team, succeed in any situation, what words of wisdom will you share with our listeners?
Viktor Frankl said, and he was a medical doctor that studied the Holocaust survivors. What he looked at is, why did some of the people in the Holocaust survive while others perished? What was the divider?
Mm-hmm.
And he came up with a formula, and if anybody's writing, I would write this down. D equals S minus M. D is despair, equals S is suffering without M, which is meaning.
Wow.
So when we look at, is life going to challenge you? Oh yes. There's no running from that. But if you are suffering, if you're in despair, just look if there's no meaning. Look for meaning in anything you're going through. My dissertation, I'm getting my doctorate right now through the University of Chicago School of Psychology, and my dissertation, what I'm proving, I'm attempting to prove that when we are living with purpose, when we live with meaning and we live with a calling, there's nothing that can stop us. That purpose and calling actually provide resilience, and we can overcome any obstacle, because if you think about it, if you got a purpose bigger than what you're going through, and I know some of y'all heard this, that winners focus on what they're going to and not what they're going through. And if you're not finding that that's true, if that is not true in your life, then you have not found something that is worthy of the fight. You have not found your meaning. So what I do is, as a brain coach, I actively help people find calling and meaning, and I believe that that's the equalizer. So, I mean, that's the equalizer to whatever Satan can throw at you. You find calling and meaning, and just a real quick hint, it has to do with service, and it cannot be about you. Now, you might say, well, money's the big meaning for me, Sunita. I'm after the big house, and that's okay. But what does that house provide? What does that big car provide? What does it allow for you to really do? If we dig deep, we'll find that God has instilled in each and every one of us a desire to be of service.
Absolutely.
And it may not always appear that way, but if you dig deep, it's there. And that's what I do for people.
Absolutely. Well, Sunita, it has definitely been an honor sharing with you once again, and allowing the listeners to be able to see through your experiences. And thank you so much for sharing and being transparent and allowing us to understand how you came to find your purpose and your center while here. We will continue to hear more from Sunita later in the show. However, it's time for a prosperous spirit with the beautiful, lovely, wonderful Miss Cookie.
Thank you, Nakia. Inner peace. I navigate life with ease and grace. Some days my life runs smoothly like a gentle river. Other days I may compare it to a white water rapids. During these challenging times, I may perceive obstacles at every turn. I find peace by remembering turbulence is a natural part of the human experience. I'm never powerless or alone because God is always present to guide me. I turn to the flow of spirit within me through prayer and meditation. Breathing slowly, I'm relaxed and serene. My mind is led from turbulence to stillness. Tranquility and peace flows through me now, regardless of outer circumstances. I find a river of calm in spirit, just as the ocean calms after a storm. Knowing this too shall pass, I navigate life with ease and grace. Shanie, take us to break.
Thank you. Stay tuned for In the Kitchen with Miss Cookie and Quiet Storm, featuring music from Malcolm Hunter on the Korner. We'll be right back.
Another day, another restless night, crying myself to sleep. Another day of relentless phone calls from credit card companies demanding payment. Another day wondering if filing bankruptcy or getting one of those debt consolidation loans is the only way to go. A friend said, stop crying. Call Sharon, the debt destroyer. Sharon and her team of experts work hard to help you eliminate your credit card debt and get you and your credit back on track. No bankruptcy? No loans? Your credit card debt eliminated? I called Sharon, and her team of experts went right to work with a plan that made sense. I am sleeping peacefully, knowing my credit card debt is being destroyed and my credit is getting back on track. Have your credit card debt destroyed and get a good night's sleep. Contact Sharon, the debt destroyer, at yourdebtdestroyed.com or call 888-431-2829, extension 2.
We give it all to you on Grow Your Mind and Money, and we do it all with love. Something smells great. I think it's a dish Miss Cookie has been whipping up in the kitchen. Miss Cookie, what you got for us?
Thank you, Ronnie B., and welcome to the kitchen. We have a great recipe to feed those hearty appetites that have been working diligently on growing their minds and money. Tonight we have a weeknight delicious, healthy, fast, and fresh solution for dinner tonight. It is called steak with spicy balsamic glaze, and it's easy for a weeknight and impressive enough for company. The secret is the flavor-packed glaze, and you can also add a simple salad of peaches and spinach. What you need, get those pens and paper handy. Here come your ingredients. 1 pound of boneless top sirloin steak, about 1 inch thick, trimmed of fat. 1/2 cup of water. 1/2 cup of apple cider. 1/4 cup of Worcestershire sauce. 1 cup of balsamic vinegar. 1/2 teaspoon of crushed red pepper. 1/4 cup of honey. And to get started, here comes the preparation. Place the steak in a resealable plastic bag. Add water, apple cider, Worcestershire sauce, vinegar, and crushed red peppers. Seal the bag. You want to marinate this 20 minutes, turning occasionally. Secondly, you want to heat a large skillet coated with nonstick cooking spray over a medium-high heat. Remove the steak from the bag. Reserve and marinate. Season with salt and black pepper. Cook 12 minutes. Turn in once or until desired doneness. Remove and keep warm. For glaze, add the marinade and honey to skillet. Whisk to combine. Bring boil gently uncovered. About 7 minutes until reduced to 1/3 cup. serve the glaze with the sliced steak. It makes 4 servings. And for that simple salad of peaches and spinach, eat and enjoy. It is delicious and scrumptious. Now it is time for the corner with Quiet Storm. Let's give her a smooch and a rose.
Thank you so much, Miss Cookie. Another mouth-watering, delicious meal. Well, it is time tonight to check out the latest artist. And tonight, we are featuring music from Malcolm Allen. He is out of Houston, Texas, with his album, Find Me a Lover. Now, as you all know, we usually ask our team to vote whether they should get a Smooch and a Rose, whatever track we're playing, or if that track really needs more fertilizing. First track up is called Summer Love. Let's check it out.
Summer love, looking for someone to love. I'm looking for a summer love, someone to satisfy my every need. Boy, let me be your summer love, feel the coolness of the wind that blows. Someone to walk and hold my hand, so we can count the stars above. To me every time your eyes meet mine, feel the shivers running down your spine. Oh, yeah. Summer, summer love, looking for someone to love. Summer love, looking for someone to love. Oh, I'm looking for a summer love, someone to satisfy my every need. Boy, let me be your summer love, feel the coolness of the wind that blows. Someone to walk and hold my hand, so we can count the stars above. To me every time your eyes meet mine, looking for someone to love.
Well, team, that was Summer Love. You all heard it. Let's go right to the team and find out what they thought about that track. And tonight we will begin with Mr. Ronnie B. Ronnie B., what did you think about that one?
Nakia, what you doing after the show?
My Summer Love just left.
sound like you need a replacement there. I'm giving it a shout out. My man was smooth, got me in the groove, so I'm giving it a smooth and a rose.
I have a 365-day summer love, seasonal love, all the time love. So I don't need just a summertime love. It is cool.
You don't need just a summer love. Okay, all right, okay. Well, I'm giving the song a smooch and a rose.
Ronnie says he's giving it a smooch and a rose, and I can't help it. We have to find out what Lady Nakia thought about that one. You're right. Yes, you are.
It was interesting. You know, like I say, I'm not just about a summer love, so they're going to have to give me more than that. And, it has some old flavor to it. I could not pinpoint where I felt like the music kind of came from, but it was a familiar sound to me. But, they could have had more to it. And majority of what I only heard was summer love. They could have gave more, fire and ice with it. But I'll go ahead and give it a smooch, but it's going to have to work on that road.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that was still a quasi thumbs up. All right.
Yes,
Miss Cookie? Miss Cookie, what did you think of Summer Love?
No roses and no smooches.
All right, always consistent.
They
we
work mighty on that. That summer love got me dizzy.
All right. Well, we definitely got to find out what Sunshine Princess of Poetry thinks. Shanie, I know you're in the house.
I am. I actually like that. It was it's summertime. I'm feeling a little lovey today.
So, definitely summertime here.
Yes, it's hot. It's hot. It normally heat does not make me happy, but I like their music. So I'm gonna give it a smooch and a rose pep.
Okay, so far we are on a roll. Summer Love. Sunita, what did you think of Summer Love?
I don't know a lot about music. I actually have a boyfriend who knows a little bit more, taught me some. It sounded real sweet if it was the first song they ever wrote. Maybe they're in middle school. But I think it needs some more fertilization.
All right. Well, that is fair. The voices in this song were, I thought, nice, but I didn't think the song really did them justice. So I am going to say it needs more fertilizing. That was Summer Love. Now up next is our next track. This one is titled Find Me a Lover. I believe that is the name of the album as well. Let's check this out.
For this woman, the whole world I share. Baby, if you think I'm cheap, I just wouldn't dare. I've been hurt so many times before. To tell you the truth, I just can't take no more. But I'll try again one more time. I'm looking for a lover girl who would always be mine. I got to find me. Ooh, a very sexy lady. From her head down to her toes. I got to find the lover. I'm gonna keep on moving till I find him. Now I've been hurt so many times. To tell you the truth, I can't take no more, baby. But I'll try and try again. I'm looking for a lady who will always be mine. Gotta find me a lover. I got to find me. I got to find me a sexy lady. No one can. A beautiful lady. In another way. Someone to sex me down. Baby. I want a lady. I got to find me. Ooh. I got to find me a lover.
Well, you heard the man. He said he had to find himself a lover. That was Find Me a Lover by Malcolm Allen. Let's find out from our panel exactly what they thought about that. And let us start with Shanie.
I like that. I actually like the music tonight. It's actually better than a lot of stuff we've heard recently.
I have to agree.
It's like it's not the worst thing I've ever heard. It may not be the best, but I actually like this music tonight. I don't know, so I'm gonna give it a smooch.
All right. Nice to hear your lovely voice, and we segue on over to Miss Cookie. Miss Cookie, what did you think about that?
They did have a little beat, so I'll give them a half a rose.
Okay. All right. Positive. Half a rose. Nakia, Empress of Faith.
I like that one. I was actually bobbing my head, moving, a little grooving. I'm glad it was a man singing, talking about he's going to find him a woman, and not a woman talking about she going to find her a man, because that's not our role, you know.
Wasn't that a nice change?
So, yeah, that was sweet. I like that. So I'm going to give him a smooch and a rose, and I enjoy it.
All right. Well, let's go right to our guest, Sunita, and see if she liked it or not. Sunita, what did you think of that?
It was definitely better than the first song, but it sounded like I'd heard it before, 1,000 times before. It didn't sound like anything real original. So, I mean, it fit, you know, like I've heard that before, so it didn't bother me, but it's not something I wouldn't buy it out. I wouldn't purchase it. But I'm tough, right? I'm just mean.
Not at all. That's perfectly fair. Oh, no, you haven't heard mean yet.
No, you have not.
I have to agree.
I resent that latest statement made by those two persons.
I was told not to be Simon or Paula Abdul, so I'm
You'll be whoever you want to be tonight.
Thank you. Exactly.
Free your mind.
Well, Mr. Ronnie B.
Well, I can get where Sunita might have heard it because it sounds like a little Johnny Taylor with a little Bobby Womack, and I don't trust either one of them brothers. I learned a long time ago. Now I get Nakia like them old begging brothers. But I am gonna say that's that juke joint. That's that juke joint music. That's that. Yeah, Shanie. No, that's that juke joint music where you go and have a couple of cocktails and y'all dance all night, and have a good time with some friends and eat some chicken wings.
I know.
So I'm giving it a smooch and a roll.
Let's go, Nakia.
We finna get in the car. What time is it? Oh, it's about that time.
We is. Head on to the speakeasy, girl.
Hole in the wall. Hole in the wall.
Yeah.
Find me a lover. Well, I have to agree with Sunita. It did sound like 1,000 songs that I've heard just like that. Again, I really like the voices, but the song itself, it's not really feeling it. Well, audience members, if you liked what you heard this evening from Malcolm Allen, you can check him out at malcolmallen, ALLEN.net.
Okay. Up next, Shanie's Sunshine Lounge. Ronnie B's interview with Sunita and Voices from the Ether. Please stay tuned.
Yeah. Pay someone to give me coaching when what I need is to make more money. Let's get real. You are already making money if you can afford to pay a so-called coach to get you to the next level. Ever hear the old saying, those who can, do. Those who can't, coach. Seems like a whole bunch of so-called life or business coaches do nothing but sell the need for coaching. I was more than skeptical when it came to paying a coach to help me make more money in my business. Margaret Bassant's Elegant Coaching is about fulfilling desires now, not later, which blew me away. Week 1, I am critical, suspicious, skeptical, and disagreeable. Margaret trains us on seeing what is hidden from our view. Week 2, I am beginning to pinpoint the exact actions I take when making the moves critical to growing my business that are keeping it from growing wildly. I am less skeptical, critical, and suspicious. Margaret trains us how to put the past in the past and bring completion to decisions that are impacting our present and future effectiveness. Week 3, my company doubled its sales income and I made a lot more money, a lot more. I want more coaching. Margaret Bassant's Elegant Coaching, fulfilling desires now, not later.
Welcome back. We give it all to you on Grow Your Mind and Money. And of course, we do it all with love. Now it's time to visit the lounge. Shanie, take it away.
Thank you, Nakia. Woo, woo. Welcome to Shanie's Sunshine Lounge, where we feature a mixture of goodies that will stimulate your mind, maybe even having you tapping your feet. Tonight, we have a awesome, did I say awesome? Awesome poet. Am I being biased? I said, I'm sorry. Okay. So we have an awesome poet, Lisa B, performing Look It Up, Kid. Hey, BJ, that mic is hot.
You say you want every girl in the world, that's some wish list idea no one can match it. Just be mindful that every one of 40 girls from a package that you can't be wrapped and give back, kid. I am a poet laureate, yeah, look it up, kid. You can have the heart of a lion in any lyrical battle, but I am the one that they call daddy, look it up, kid. I remain calm and then I close the mouths of idiots. Lisa and relentless is synonymous. Decipher my scheme if you dare. I'm plotting to reverse that lyrical curse that you spit in my neighbor's ear. My words are heaven sent. God's scientific spirit fills it and I deliver it. With no intent to come in at number one, my God is 3 and 1. I have no problem being numberless. But is your ignorance infinite? Always bragging about the latest rhyme that you spit. I'm a lady. I don't spit, I tsunami. Demons still looking for me. And if they ever try to lock me away, I'll just plead temporary insanity and tell them that I see dead poets that I try to resurrect in my dreams. I got you thinking that I'm crazy, but you still want me on your team. Because if you're like Kobe up to date, then I'm like Mike in the 90s. Go ahead, put up 80 points, boy, I got 6 rings. You can have MVP, I'm a dynasty. I'm that bull and my mouth is a 7th ring. You're that bull they never talk about, you simple-minded little thing. My brain waves are so crazy, I just rub radio frequencies and you still tune in daily. I don't take this lightly. I go to sleep with a pen in my hand just in case my thoughts try to jump out the bed, get with it. I'm a huge fan of dreaming, because every night when I'm asleep, God writes on the inside of my eyelids. And the devil tries to eBay my soul, but I wouldn't let him get a bid in. I tell him that it's music tricks up the kids, but call me a silly rabbit. I get all kind of tricky words up my sleeve. That's why I wear long sleeve. I'm a cutter. I slash wrists of poets who don't rip the pen correctly. I should have been a doctor. I get verbal hysterectomies. Come across my path and your notebooks go down and you won't be able to write nothing for a week. While I stay fertile, I procreate words like John and Kate. And if I was a dude, my pen will never shoot blanks. I'm timeless. I'm priceless. It's a crisis that they let me get away with this. I'm timeless. I'm priceless. I should be illegal. Damn, they let me get away with this.
Oh, my goodness.
Bam! Bam! I'm sorry. Look at that kid. Okay, so I'm going straight to the panel because I'm like all excited and stuff. Quiet Storm.
Me, ooh, me. Yes, oh, that was really, really something. You know, I don't know. At the end, she kind of had my arms flailing like George Foreman in the last round in Congo. I was like, oh, my God, I don't even know what she said. Say it again. You know, I love it. She put it together. It was like punches. You know, I definitely have to go back and replay that. I really liked how she put that together. You know, I hear the same kind of style, but something about the way she did it was really unique and just so, it was just so, as we used to say, on the one.
Yes. I'm sorry, I'm excited over here. Robbie B?
Snap. Double snap and a toe tap. Look it up, kid. I love that line when she says, I'm a tsunami. FEMA is looking for me.
Looking for me, yes.
It says FEMA is looking for me. She says she got to go to sleep at night with a pen in her hand. I'm like, girl, you bad. So I'm snap, toe tap.
Yes. And Sunita, our wonderful guest.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you think about that?
No, it was beautiful.
Snap. All right. Now, I've been waiting, leaving you for last with your little squeaky voice because I know you're excited over there. Nikia, my love. Give it to me. Go ahead, give it to me.
I'm not going to say a whole lot because I liked it. I would give a snap, snap, toe, toe tapping. And that's all I got right now.
That's okay. I'm over here dancing and party. She got me over here crunk all over again.
Honey, I'm trying to drop it, baby, but you know if I go down too far, I ain't coming up. So.
Oh God.
Yes. All right. I enjoyed this one. So I hope that you enjoyed this performance as much as I did from the awesome Lisa B. You can check her out on oldgrumpyhouston.com, YouTube, Facebook /experience Lisa B. That chick is hot. Now, it is time to continue our awesome interview with our wonderful guest, Sunita Trevino. Ronnie B., take it away.
Thank you, Shanie. And Sunita, as we continue the interview, I want to thank you for sharing and, just your willingness to be so open and authentic. And you just don't know how much a difference that's made for, I'll just say, for me and the team and for all the listeners. Just awesome. Now, in this segment, we will learn more about Sunita and some of the challenges she faces in having Brain Coach Consulting succeed and exceed all expectations. Now, Sunita, would you please share the aha moment when you knew in your heart of hearts that creating Brain Coach Consulting was the right thing for you?
Well, I was working with a group of people, and I was owning a business, and I had about 40 people that reported to me, and I saw that as they went about their business, they didn't realize that they were worthy. I saw really good people struggling for no reason. I was trying so hard to inspire them, and so I did a lot of research, and my training was in the brain neuroscience, and I looked at very interesting field of neuroplasticity and what was happening in that, and I was pursuing my second degree in it. But what I found was that the brain was really so capable, but life kept beating us up, and we were believing it. I saw great people believing it. And so I learned mechanisms. I learned scientific procedures and ways that through questioning and answering that I could help people overcome limiting beliefs, whatever was stopping them. The greatest thing was, though, that in all the research I did, I found that we needed to believe in something bigger than ourselves. When it was all said and done, when the science had spoken, and when all the psychology had given their theories, what still stood was that if we didn't believe there was an entity that loved us and created us to succeed, the science didn't matter. So Brain Coach Consulting brings together my Eastern influence, which is my Indian culture and understanding how energy and thought affect what we see as reality. And I bring my medical influence, which is the American Western side of me. But the other part of me that I bring in is this understanding that all of that being said, all the science, if you don't believe in something bigger than yourself, if you don't believe in a creator that has your back, why create? What I came to realize is that I wanted people to understand that they were not a random explosion of gases. I was an avid evolutionist. When I was taught evolution, it was never told to me that it was a theory. I thought it was a fact. But it left me so desperate and so empty. And then as I did my science and I did my research, I realized there had to be a creator. We could not have been an accident. It's mathematically impossible. And I'm a scientist, so, the Lord came to me through science. But what I realized is that we needed to know that when it really mattered, if we believed in something bigger than ourselves and we honored that we could overcome our limiting beliefs, that we could rewire our brain. I really believe that you can be born again in your brain. And there's science and technology, which, I'm getting my PhD in that. But ultimately, if you didn't believe, you needed to believe. You needed to have faith. Science cannot explain that one last missing piece. And so I created Brain Coach Consulting because I am trained as a neuropsychologist. I put probes on people's head and watch brainwave activities, and I use psychology. But ultimately, when I sit with people, I let them know that the brain was created to do great things, and truly it was created, and it wasn't an accident, and therefore there is a creator. So my practice, what I do is I give people strategies, but ultimately we're led back. If they will let me, if they're ready to receive it, is that we are not spirit. We are not body having a spirit experience, which is what a lot of us believe. We are not body having a spirit experience. We are spirit having a body experience. Does that make sense?
It does, but the one thing I would like to know is that, but when did you know in your heart of hearts that creating brain, because you could have did a lot of things. Because you didn't have to create Brain Coach Consulting.
No.
So when did you know that I'm going to create Brain Coach Consulting itself?
When I saw that people were hurting, and I had this gift to explain how their brain was working. My message for them was bigger than about the brain. So I took
Well, let me go back and let me ask you this. How long has Brain Coach Consulting existed?
It's existed for 2 years. I was doing the work.
So there was a moment when there was not Brain Coach Consulting, and then there was a moment that it was.
Yes.
So what happened that you said, I'm going to do Brain Coach Consulting?
I was teaching a class in my other business, and good people came up to me, and I realized I had to do something, and I wanted to do it for free. I wanted to keep just do through my other business, but I couldn't do it fast enough. I found the adrenaline rush, and I'd been toying with the concept of purpose. I'd been toying with understanding how I made it through what I'd gone through. What was the thing that all these successful people had? What did I have that allowed me to keep coming and to keep going? And I realized it was understanding my purpose. And if I could get people out of their own way through showing them purpose and calling. So I guess the moment I knew that I was supposed to do something is when I was putting together workshops to help people and answering questions, and it was eating me up. I couldn't get enough of it. I was staying up late at night. I got up early in the morning. It was like, it wasn't work. And later on, of course, what I do now is I show people how to find that calling. And I show them through a process of looking at their past. Our past, I believe, is an indicator of what we saw the world needing. There's some suffering that we went through that left an incompleteness in us. And by giving that away, which we did not get, we actually can find our calling. So I saw this, and I was telling people my theories. I was telling people what the scientific evidence was. You take Maslow's hierarchy, and You turn it upside down. Maslow is a famous psychiatrist that says that we need to have food, shelter, all these needs that we had. The very top of this triangle of needs was self-actualization. And I saw that people that did things with passion and did things for self-actualization to be the best that they could be, that many actually followed them. I started teaching this by accident, and I found people sitting around a table for hours listening to me. I found business owners who were calling me for advice. And so that's when I decided I got
to... Got it. So did the passion find you, or did you create the passion? Well, Sunita, you've had Brain Coach Consulting has been going on for a little bit over 2 years, right?
Yes, sir.
And I'm not that old. And what circumstances or people challenge you in having Brain Coach Consulting, and the difference you make exceed all expectations? And what are you doing to overcome those obstacles?
I'll be true. I'm true to what God has shown me. I'm true to what I see in people. And that has helped me to exceed expectations and overcome whatever obstacles come in front of me. I'm true to myself. I'm true to what I know I have experienced. And I think it's so important to be true to thyself. I haven't sold out. Now, I never think I'm good enough. I struggle with that all the time. So I always think there's another book I could read. I could always improve this or that about my concepts, my classes. I do a boot camp. I recently started I started a company where I do retreats. So, but what's kept me going is really believe that if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything. So I took a stand, and I've witnessed, by taking a stand, I've witnessed it. And I think we all find our way out of the darkness, but whatever way you found out of the darkness, it is a way. And not everyone's going to use your way out of that, but we're all looking for ways. We're all looking for some light. We're looking for some hope. And there's enough people, I think you'll find, if you'll stay true to what you see as right, what you see has worked for you, if you stay true to that and use your map for other people that seem lost, there'll be some people wanting to go with you on that journey. And that's what you take with you when you take your last breath. It's those people that you served. It's not the house, not the car. It's not any of those things. It's the people that you took with you on the journey. So that's how I've done it. Did I answer that question?
Yes, ma'am. And one thing I just want to point out before I move to the next question is another way to say believe is be living.
Oh, okay. Be living.
And
okay.
Be living, because that is how you be living, for real.
That's right.
It sure is. It will show up. Now, would you be willing to share a disappointment? You've made a difference for God, people, so many people, in so many places, in business and just on a personal level, couples, individuals. Would you share a disappointment that involved working with others that still has you shake your head?
A disappointment with people or with myself? Because the first one that'll come to me is...
Well, that involved working with others. That involved working with others that still has you shake your head like you.
Shake my head. Well, what has me shake my head is when people they don't believe in the goodness of themselves and the goodness of other people. We still sell ourselves.
Do you have an example?
Yes. When I'm working with couples and I'm working with any conflict. Sometimes I get hired by companies to resolve conflicts. And ultimately, after the stories have been said, and he said, she said, and all that, I look at them and I want them to, and I ask them, now, do you think that other person really wants you to suffer? Do you think they really went out there intentionally to make you hurt? Come on. And I'm asking for people to believe in humanity. And people are just so cynical still. Sometimes I find, now, those that want to believe, I just nudge them a little and they come right over. But so many people are dark. So many people, they don't want to believe in each other anymore. And all I can do is pray for them. Because that's not my...
Yeah, there are times when that is all you can do, God. And, yeah, I remember a couple I worked with, and I asked them, I said, when was the last time you said you loved each other? Well, on the flip side of that, please share a moment, a specific moment where your efforts and the memories of the work you and others did still brings a smile to your face. You look at that time, and it just brings that big old grin.
I was helping she's a new business owner, scared to death. And she came to one of my classes I was doing for the SBA. And it was about branding, and it was about using your purpose, your God-given purpose, to create your brand. So she was just quiet the whole class. And towards the end, when almost everybody had left the classroom, she came up to me. She said, you know, I love what you said. I'm really inspired, but I don't think you can help me. She said, I just have a little cleaning business. And and everybody else in here had all these big businesses. She says, it's just me. I just clean houses and offices. And so she just saw herself as so small. And I asked her, why did she clean? What was it that cleaning gave her? Give me your most joyous moment. So she shared with me how she cleaned someone's house, and I said, well, and they were just so happy. And I said, well, why did you get happy? And I took her through some questions, and what we got to was that the thing that brought her the most joy is in having people feel at home and loved. And in her life, we found that there was times that she didn't feel loved. And I asked her, and so we took this woman who thought she had a lowly little business, and we took it into her, and I really created for her how this is her way of serving humanity. And what she wasn't just cleaning an office. I got her to see that she was giving people comfort, love, and joy, so they didn't have to worry. Because if their office was clean, their home was clean, they could dedicate themselves to family. It was just so exciting to see. She really left there feeling, not like I clean houses. I clean houses because, so it was getting in touch with her why and going deep with it. I had another client who, she makes chicken. Now, her boss wanted me to inspire the chicken makers. I mean, how inspiring could be you fry chicken. So I took it on. I said, if I can get someone inspired about making chicken, I can do anything. So I work with these employees, and there was 4 of them frying chicken, and small little business here in San Antonio. But I asked them, why do you make chicken? What is it? And when I really dug down and I asked them why, and I could get into it, I'm going to tell you, they made chicken because for different reasons, but some of the reasons were because when they know that when someone takes their chicken home, that, now mind you, they hadn't realized it till we pulled it out, but when they make their chicken, someone gets to take that chicken home and can spend time with their family, and it was about cherishing their children. And, you think about it, we don't, the Lord tells us you got to blossom where you're planted. No matter what you're doing, you could be frying chicken, you could be mopping floors, but how are you serving people? And if don't belittle yourself, no matter what you're doing, there is some service that and I want to tell you, make it up. If you can't find something, and get excited about it. And you start sharing that with people, and you start creating it. You start declaring, I make chicken because I make families happy. They buy my chicken. Buy my chicken. I know that Mama's going home, and she don't have to worry about cooking, so she can spend more time with her kids. Now, whether that's happening or not, it don't matter. Your brain makes stuff up anyway. I say we make up stuff right back. But we choose the stories we tell ourselves. Because, the brain, you know how the brain, a lot of us, the brain works, right? It gives us stories. So I'm just saying choose your stories. Something
happens, there will be an interpretation. But, Sunita, we could talk forever.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No.
Finish that thought.
I wanted to let everybody know that when the question you were asking me, how did I know, or when was one of the best moments, is taking those people that think they're nothing, and they are out making a big deal. I'm not president of the United States. I don't even have a company like you do. I don't own my own business. I make chicken. And then to help them realize that they're a shiny penny, they just needed to be scrubbed up a little bit. That's awesome for me.
Wow, that is great. That is great, and it's not what you do, it's who you be about what you're doing. Sunita, we could talk forever, but it is time to hear from our listeners. Maybe we can get a couple of quiet storm. What do you hear from the ethers?
All right, Ronnie B. Well, unfortunately, we don't have any voices from the ethers this particular week. Now, the voices from the ethers are usually where we hear from our listening audience. This particular week, we do not have any voices from the ethers.
All
but we're
right,
going to keep it rolling.
We have to, talk to that production team.
It's
so
rare,
we want to hear from you awesome listeners. So send us your thoughts. We want to hear what you have to say about this awesome show. It is time for our break, so coming up in the next segment, the finale with Sunita Trevino, food for thought, and my favorite part of the show, the prosperity work. Stay tuned.
Oh, beautiful, just beautiful. Oh, how adorable is that?
Edible Arrangements has a fresh fruit bouquet to make any occasion special. Our bouquets are made with fresh premium fruit, arranged in a variety of stunning displays. Make every occasion special with Edible Arrangements. Guys, the baby's over here.
Oh, all right. Oh, okay, yes. And don't even think about touching my Edible Arrangements.
For pickup or delivery nationwide, call 877-DO-FRUIT, 877-DO-FRUIT, or go to ediblearrangement.com. That's ediblearrangement.com. Yeah.
Oh, my. What a nice looking baby you got there.
Make all your special moments. Moments with Edible Arrangements.
Welcome back. We give it all to you on Grow Your Mind and Money. And baby, you better believe that we do it all with love. Ooh, it's time for the finale. Quiet Storm, my love, over to you.
Thank you, Sunshine. Well, Sunita, it really has been a special treat having you on the show this evening. And from what I hear, you're really all about helping people to see their own greatness. So I can definitely see why this is so fulfilling to you.
Thank you. It's been an honor to be part of what you all are doing. I think it's It's such a gift to people. In India, I wish there was more things like this. People getting inspired and coming together. And really what I see is there's a fellowship going on here. And y'all are supporting each other and loving on each other and just entertaining people and bringing them fresh ideas. There's so much bad news out there, and all I hear is good stuff. And I applaud all of y'all that brought this together and your continuous labor of love that this must be.
Well, thank you. Well, I'm going to get right into it and just ask you, what challenges do you see lurking in the waters, so to speak, that will slow you down or take you off the path from having your businesses succeed beyond expectations?
You know, it's really, well, I was going to say, because earlier I was asked where I was disappointed, and I was going to say in myself, and where that is I tell people to get their greatness, and actually my purpose statement is I exist to serve by liberating greatness and in people and organizations, and that's what I do, and I keep fighting myself to understand my greatness, and so I have my expectations for what's possible is where I get frustrated with myself. And if I could say anything that could stop me is my limited vision and not knowing who I am as a child of a creator, not understanding that I have an inheritance because I'm a child of a king or of a creator. That's where I know I can get stopped. And you know, you think about the Donald Trumps out there that are good, you know, they're successful, they were raised with expectations, and they walk in and they expect things to work out. And then there's good people like yourself, myself, where we have these limiting beliefs and we don't expect things to be easy. And they are easy. Nothing has to be hard. Whatever's coming to us is going to come to us. We don't have to fight for anything. And I'm so grateful for my Indian work ethic as an immigrant to this country. A lot of immigrants have very strong work ethic. But in a way, it can also be debilitating because I should just expect it. Earlier, I believe it was Ronnie that was saying, you know, we are being. And what I heard in that, a lot of people think that if we do, we will have and we will be. If we do what a millionaire does, we will have what a millionaire has and we will be a millionaire. And what I think constantly, even in quantum physics we're taught this, science teaches us, biology teaches us, and I think God is trying to tell us, you be. And you will organically do what that being does, and you will have. We think that creation happens by running around, working really hard, doing all these things. Now, that doesn't mean you're allowed to sit on your sofa and do nothing. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying if you do a checkup from the neck up, and you are being that. You dress for the position that you want. You dress for the place you want to be. You act as if you are that, and then you will do what that being normally does, naturally does, without needing to be motivated, because you just do that. You know, I don't tell you if any of y'all ladies out there you're a mother. You don't have to think about being a mom. You just mom. You are consumed by mom. You don't know how not to be a mom. You're just a mom. You're mom in your core. Well, what if we realize that we are successful and great, not as if it's some place to get to, but it's just who we are. And that who we are does great things because that's what a great person does. So, and then you'll have that. I don't know if that makes sense. Rather than looking at doing and then having and then being, we reverse that. And I believe we need to be. and then we will do naturally, and it will happen. It will and we will have.
Oh, no, you're being well understood and is well said. Well, let me also ask you, if you would please share with us at least 2 pitfalls that you've seen other people fall into, especially when it comes to being consistent in their actions for growing their careers, their wealth, maybe their health and well-being. What 2 pitfalls have you seen people fall into?
I think people focus too often on the results, and it's that we're in a society where we look at the results, and the truth is, if you want anything new in your life, you want a promotion, you want that love of your life that's not there yet, whatever it is that you want in your life, if you knew how to get there, if you knew what to do to have it, you would already have it. So the fact is that you're going to make some mistakes. And I think that one of the pitfalls that we have is we focus too often on the results and not the process. And we think that it's this way of thinking. If I have this, then I will be there. If I have $1 million, I will be happy. If I have this man, if I have a divorce, it's all if and then. And so we keep focusing on these results. And what we need to do is focus on the process. Are we, and again, it goes back to what I was just talking about, are we being? Who are we being? And what are we really committed to? So my daughter said something real ridiculous to me, okay? So, and we get stopped. Things happen in our life, and it doesn't look like it's supposed to. Like, my daughter was not supposed to say something like that to me. That's not the way it's supposed to look like. And we get stopped because we're so focused on that result. And what we tend to do is we torture ourselves as human beings. That's how the brain's created. It's going to remind you of all your failures. So what I thought about was, what am I really committed to? Not what's showing up right now. Not the results, but what is the process? Who am I being? And what was I really committed to? Well, I really was committed to having a relationship with my daughter that was authentic, that was real. And so if that's what I'm really committed to, and she's sharing something with me and it doesn't look like I think it should, I'm not going to get stuck on that result. I'm not going to look at that. I'm going to look at, okay, who am I being, and I get the process. So when you look at the process and make sure you're right in your head, the way to get there will present itself. See, the current thinking that we have got us what we got. So if we keep looking at results as the focus, then we're going to get in trouble, because those results came from our current thinking. The thinking that we need to have to get where we want to go, because we've never been there, we don't even have that yet. So we focus too often on the way we think it's supposed to look, and that's the results. We're in trouble. And then when you hear about, you analyze to analysis to paralysis, right? So that's, I would say those are the pitfalls. First of all is focusing too often on the results. I think we should focus on the process. We have this thought process. If this, then I'll be happy. If this, then I'll be a millionaire. If this, why not focus on the process and then worry about the results? Now, the truth is, if you're being the best student you can be in school, if you're being the best parent you could be, the results will probably be something that you're proud of anyway. So that's one pitfall. But I think inside of that there's a lot. The other thing is, I think we focus on, we forget what we're committed to. We forget why we started something. And we focus rather on what we did wrong. We focus on all the mistakes. We blame. I think we don't take responsibility. And I think that personal responsibility equals personal power. So if you're ever stuck with something in your life, just take a look around and see where you're not being responsible. Now, I would ask you, do you think you're responsible for world hunger? Are you responsible? I mean, most people would say no. World hunger is not my problem, right? Wouldn't you say that?
I would.
Think about it, though, right? And what about human trafficking? Would you say human trafficking is my problem or my responsibility? We would say no, it's not. Someone should go fix that problem. But what I find is, think about it. When you think something is not your responsibility, you are stuck with it. Now let's look at this, though. Don't you think we have responsibility?
We would like to, but we're going to have to move it along, I'm afraid.
Okay. So I think we get responsibility and fault mixed up. That's another thing that we do.
Well, those were definitely two very powerful pitfalls to look at. And Ronnie B definitely keeps us on track. So I want to make sure that I ask you,
keep going. Just
would you please share with us at least one practice that you use daily to keep yourself in action, focused on the results that you intend to produce?
Beautiful question. And I'll go right back to what I was just saying. See how everything's so perfect? One thing I would tell you to keep going and keep in action, to answer your question.
No. Don't tell us what, no. Don't tell us what to do. One practice you use daily to keep yourself in action.
I look at where I'm not being responsible for something, where I'm not taking personal responsibility. That's how I keep myself in action. I don't wait for something else to change. I look at what can I do right now in this situation. What am I committed to, and I move in that. I move accordingly. If ever I'm stuck in life, what I do and how I keep myself in action is I look to see where I did not take personal responsibility for what is showing up in my life.
Wow. Definitely on point with that. Well, why don't you tell us what's on your plate and how our listeners can learn more about the projects and activities that you're involved with?
I am still keeping myself available for personal contact. I don't know how long I can continue that because of my schedule, but I have a website. It is your-braincoach.com. And anybody's willing to look. My telephone number is on my website. I may change that soon, but I am blessed to be of service to anybody that calls me. If you want to write it down, it's 210-884-1200. Again, that is on my website. My personal email is not difficult either. If you get on LinkedIn and you can find everything you need about me to contact me. But what I'm involved in right now is I'm creating retreats through, it's a Cornerstone Institute with Mr. Nolan Davis. Viz Inc. is that company. Viz Inc. and the Brain Coach are getting together. And what we're doing is we're creating a retreat, a camp, where we help people find their purpose, calling, and direction. And using techniques through drama therapy and surplus reality, we are videotaping people experiencing their purpose so they can take home a video recording of them living their lives with intention. During the camp, we give people technologies, systematic methods on how to, rather than be used by your brain, to use your brain. So those are the projects I'm involved in. I've been blessed. I am now getting a blog with the local newspaper, with the Express News, and I'll be reaching Houston, Austin, Laredo, Brownsville, southern part of Texas. I'll have access to put information out there for people just to keep them going on little ideas that they can do to change their life. So my book will be out, praise God, October of this year. My PhD should be February. And what I'm hoping to do is bring all of this message of service to the business community. But wherever I can serve, I'm going to be there. I'm doing some work with veterans too as well, and entrepreneurs here in the city. So, and it's, again, I know I've said this before, it's been such an honor to be, I am humbled by the caliber of the people on this call and on this show, and I'm honored to be part of that. Thank you so much.
Wow. Well, Sunita, we are definitely honored to have you on the show. And I have to say, I'm just blown away by your openness, professionalism, and just, you know, Ronnie has said it before, it's so authentic. It just comes across and just, you know, it's really, really touching, and it's inspiring. So I want to thank you again for accepting our invitation to be on the show. Definitely come back and visit us again.
If you invite me, I don't know. After some of the reel I got on the show today, I don't know if y'all want me back, but that's good if you do.
Oh no, that's not the way we see it. We definitely want to have you back.
I want to thank you for the courage it takes to have someone like me on. But I'm honored. Thank you. I hope to be back.
All right, you guys heard it. Well, I am perceiving that there is something very special that Nakia is whipping up for us right now on Food for Thought.
Thank you, Quiet Storm. Food for Thought. Succeed in any situation. Ideal conditions for doing your work are, well, ideal, but they are not absolutely necessary. They are not absolutely necessary. It's great to have all the tools and resources close at hand, and to have a supportive environment in which to use them. While such a scenario is quite desirable, yes indeed, it's not always possible. Just because conditions are less than perfect does not mean you have to be less than your best. Just because conditions are not ideal is not an excuse to put off your work until another time. In fact, there can be hidden value in those challenging, less than ideal conditions. You might actually find a way to do the job even better than if things had been perfect. So if you catch yourself making excuses, quickly remind yourself on how capable and adaptable you are. Instead of seeing the situation as a reason to procrastinate, see it as a challenge to grow stronger and more resilient. Give new power and effectiveness to your work by resolving to do it no matter what. Give yourself the ability to succeed in any situation. An action I see I can take for myself when it comes to the theme succeed in any situation is to do what I'm doing now. Being resilient. Not allowing my current condition, situation, or circumstance hinder me, stop me, or defeat me. Maintaining my faith and perseverance in any situation. Over to Ronnie B. for the prosperity work.
All right, and thank you, Empress of Faith, and battling, not letting a sore throat keep a good woman down. The success law of preparation. The success law of preparation is this. Make a move toward your desired good by preparing for it. Then your good will make a move toward you. The word desire and its root means of the Father. The good you desire desires you. Everything you want wants you. Desire is divine. It is divinely implanted within you by a loving Father as a means of propelling you into growth and progress. The same power that gave you the desire will show you how to manifest it if you can mentally accept that desire and its direction. When you have completely prepared for the good you want, it will overtake you either in the form you expect or in a form infinitely better than you dare to anticipate. The work. Create a list of 10 desires. Next to each desire, write the action you will take to move toward that desire and when you will take that action. Say this affirmation daily. As I make a move toward my desired good by preparing for it, my good is able to make a move toward me. Share your list with at least one person daily and invite them to participate. And remember, demand a miracle. A world of peace and prosperity, one listener at a time. Until next time, grow your mind and money. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.